All right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, right? Now, this lesson is going to be on sex is marriage, right? And basically, there's a lot of guys going around saying that you have to get a piece of paper for you to be married, right? Now, that's not in the Bible, right? But does that mean that there was points in time where pieces of paper were used as covenants and such? No, right? Of course that happened, but it's not a commandment in the law for us to do so, right? It doesn't say you have to do that anywhere in the law, right? Now a lot of people will run to this and go get this because of the black woman because of the black woman being so American, right? Meaning meaning the black woman does not see their being legitimized without the white man giving that stamp of approval with the the marriage certificate and stuff. That's a white man giving that little stamp of approval. Then they feel like, oh, my marriage is legitimate, right? Um, they have played the same way they teach against polygamy, man. Now let's get that right. This is the book of Genesis. Let me see. All right, let's get that here. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 24, verse 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death, right? You understand? So Isaac, Isaac, he took her into his mom's tent, and she became his wife. All right. What does that mean? It means they had sex in his mother's tent, man. He went in unto her, man. Right? Was there a ceremony in his mom's tent? No. Was there a pastor there? Wedding gowns or tuxedos? You know, that, there was none of that, man. You understand? Right? So basically, there was a bed in his mother's tent, and that's what made them marry, man. Right? So teaching that sex is not marriage is propagation of whoredom in the nation of Israel, man. Right? So this initially leads our women to being whores because they don't value the true meaning of marriage, man. And that's a real problem with our people, right? Right? That's a terrible problem with our people, man. It's a curse. You understand? Right? That's why we have so many of our families without fathers, man. Right? Single parent households, man. You understand? Right? And once we came into the understanding that sex is marriage, we begin to understand innately that we can't just go around and have sex with just any girl or any sister without a lifetime commitment and responsibility, man. You understand? And this also helps us become better men in terms of maturity and wisdom, right? This also makes better women when they understand the true meaning of marriage when it comes to the scriptures, man. And anything outside of that gives you the ability to just do anything you want to do, man. Right? That's why our people are out here in this YOLO lifestyle, man. Do you only live once lifestyle, man. Just having sex with everybody, man. Doing what they want, smoking weed and all that stuff, man. And that's off, man. All the way off, man. You breaking the laws doing that, right? So so like I said, man, anything outside of that gives you the ability to just do anything you want to do, right? Go hit on things and be a hoe, not take care of your responsibilities as a man, etc. Man. So sex is marriage takes care of all of that, right? And back in the ancient days in Israel, there's the question brought up from sisters in Israel asking, is there a dowry in marriage? Do we give a dowry in do we get do we give a dowry in marriage? Right? And one thing to make clear and to understand is, look, a dowry is money, man. Right? We so back in the day, we meet a girl. Actually, no. let me take that back. We meet a girl in this day and age in Canada or United States, and she has no telling how many bodies she's hit, and she needs a dowry, right? Now, back then, we gave dowry for virgins, man, and the money would go to her father, right? Why? We would pay her father because she is in this house, meaning that he has the authority over her, right? So let's say you meet a girl and she been had sex with like, let's just say like eight or nine, 10 guys, right? Before you. What type of dowry is due for that, man? Right? I mean, who's owed the money in this situation, man? Because she's already been done in, man. Some dudes already went in onto her, man. They had sex with her already. Multiple dudes, man. Right? So she's not a virgin. And she's not under your authority, even though customarily in Israel she would be. But so why does she need a dowry? You understand? So this is the misunderstanding of what was going on in the ancient days of Israel, man. Right? So you would pay a father money only when the girl was a virgin and she was coming out of his house. Why? Because she was taken, right. Oh, Salaki, I didn't bring the scripture out here. Yeah. Because she was taken, Salaki. Let me make sure this is, yep, this is it. Right? So, like I was saying, so you would pay a father money only when the girl was a virgin and she was coming out of his house, because the father was taking a loss out of his house, right? Because back then, um, you know, the daughter, the kids would have to, have to do chores and stuff, to take care of the household, right? So that stuff is what the daughter was doing in his home, right? Which means he is now down a hand in the house, right? Once you're taking the daughter to be your wife, man, right? Once you do that, now he loses that extra helping hand in his household, man, right? So what did we do? We had to give him the dowry, man. Give him money, right? Give the father money, right? So you were giving him this money so he can go and possibly hire an extra hand, right, in the household, right? And now you have an extra hand in your home to do what you need to do. And of course, she's a virgin, so he's due a financial exchange for that, man, right? With anybody else, with the girl that's used, not living with her daddy and all these various things, there is no dowry for that, man. Because what does she do? There's no dowry for that. Now, in terms of writing a bill of divorce, that is the only thing that is in the law commanded with marriage, right? And let's get that. Let's get that here in should be in Deuteronomy here. Give me a second. Deuteronomy should be chapter 24, verse 1 here, right? So when a man, this is book of Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man had taken a wife, right, and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, right? And now we were just talking about that the household stuff, right? So so there's never commanded in the law a bill of marriage or wedding ring, only a bill of divorce, right? So basically, you write a letter and say this woman has been divorced from me, right? That way she can go and say I'm not being a hoe, right? He put me away. You understand? If she was to be with another man in Israel, right? Right? So she'll say like I'm good now, somebody else can take me now. Of course, she's not worth a dowry because somebody already went up in there. And in ancient Israel, didn't nobody want a girl that wasn't a virgin, man. Right? Nobody wanted to deal with that, man. Right? And also, we can put our Israelite women away only if they have broken the law, right? If they have committed adultery, bestiality, right? Sodomism, or sodomism, homosexual stuff, man, right? Right? Having sex with the same gender, right? So to further prove, let's go to the book of Exodus here, chapter 22. Start at verse 6 here. Slocky, not 6, verse 16 here, right? And if a man, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, chapter 22, Slocky, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife, right? Well, what does that mean? It means if a man spits game to her until he has sex with her, and she doesn't belong to anybody, there's no marriage license for that, man. Right? Let me get another precept here. Let me get the book of Deuteronomy here. Right? Let's go to chapter 25, verse 5. Right? And it reads, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse 5. If brethren dwell together and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her to him to wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. Right? Right? So that's what makes her now his wife. He shall go in unto her. Does he have to endow her? No, because she's not a virgin. Right? So what does this mean? It means you have to go in unto her for her to be a wife here, man. Right? So there you go. Sex is marriage, and you have a duty, which means debt, right? You have a debt to your brother and debt to his wife, right? If she dies, if you take a wife, period, you have a debt to your wife. For example, right? Having sex with her, having kids, providing things like that, right? That's your debt, man, right? That's your duty as a man. That's what we're brought into, man, right? We ought to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, right? So this is what we got to do, man. That's our duty right here, man. We have to take responsibility, right? So having sex with her and having kids and providing things like that, man, that's our duty right there, man. Right? Any woman you have sex with, you have that debt to, right? Now, in all of saying this, does that necessarily mean you can't have a covenant or agreement or a marriage license? No, of course not, man. Those can happen, and we use those, but it's not a requirement by the law, right? In the scriptures. You understand? Now, 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 is there any time sex is not marriage? Right? Well, sex is not marriage in the case of a harlot, aka a hoe, right? Why? Because you're paying for it, right? So the covenant that you're entering to this woman with is that you're gonna give her goods and she's gonna give you sex, right? And that's the end of it, right? So of course the daughter of Israel should never be a hoe, right? So in the case of Judah having sex with a hoe, there's a reason, and it's explained here. Let me get Genesis chapter 38, and you'll see why it's explained here. So the Most High gave this example for us here, man. Right? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 38, verse 15, right? And we're going to read from 15 to 18 here, right? So it says, when Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot because she had covered her face, right? And he turned unto her, by the way, and said, go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter in law. And she said, what wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, verse 18, and he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet and thy bracelets and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it to her and came in unto her, and she conceived by him. Right? So Judah seen her and seen that she's a hoe because she has covered her face and stuff, man. Right? So this is a whole example in the scriptures here where it's the only ever time where sex is not marriage, right? Because you're paying for it, right? You understand? And you're having that covenant with the woman, right? So the covenant that you're entering into this with the woman is that you're gonna give her goods, right? And she's just gonna give you sex, and that's just it on that, man. You understand, right? But the daughter of Israel should never be a hoe, man. Never. Understand, right? So that's it for the lesson here, and just edifying the lost sheep, right? Edifying our people, man. Or edifying our people, man. You understand, right? With that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And as always, Kam Yasharallah.